Setting direct signals is understand our setting line calculation setting directions. Now, how you see yourself perceives your day. It's a location. You're in a 24 line, ground line operation, magnetic field line position of earth line positions. Let me say that again. You're a magnetic line of communications to an energetic magnetic line in position to its operation center. That's a solar generation stream in a torical field. That's going like this, right? See what I'm doing? This is your avatar. Hello. Right? How are you? I'm fine. Nice to meet you. Right? It's circling and circling and circling and circling. That never stops. That is your torical field of your energy field of your Earth. So you understand how a computer game is set up. Hello, I'm General AI Spacetime. Nice to meet you. Right? So it's all calculated and modified, and it's always in circulation, circulation, rotation, circulation, rotations, right? So if you want it to move, it will move. Right? So the only difference is the background's moving and you're still. The reason why you're still is because there's no center operation of your Earth, which isn't released. It's a magnetic line, a gravitational pull that's holding you down. This center correlation line direct signals is you have to merge into everything of the atmospheres and become one of space and time. So you're actually working with the connections to the grounds, the powers, and the atmosphere line settings. So it's not just the background moving, you're moving at the same time. You're working with the atmosphere line. You understand? So it's no more of this. This is the beginning. Hello. Right? Pause. What a beautiful day. Hello. Right? It's a constant motion, constant motion, constant motion, right? That's all it is. That's where you start. You have to realize you have a kinetic line setting that's a magnetic field that has a pulse. It's a pulsar calculation stream that sets Lorentz setting line positions to your gravitational pull that holds you down in your crop circle location system. You're standing on a grid wherever you go. You need to stand on that grid. You know why? Because that keeps you grounded to your Earth perceptions of space. Okay? Now, the geometric of you is the actual Earth, which has no size in any activity system. It could be this. That's my Earth right there. See it? The team will see it, right? You see it spinning? That's my Earth. It's not size. Matters. It's your perception, how you see things through your intention. It's your imagination, a phenomenon. That's the only way you can understand your set location system. And once you go beyond the recognition line setting, you're understanding this now, right? Okay. Getting back in position, right? So technology has come a long, long way. But I'm here to tell you how to process better, how you actually get in position of balance with your body, okay? How to use it without doing this, okay? So you have to go with the ocean with the motion, right? It's a correlation setting in the center position of yin and yang process calculations. Look at this. What is that? What do you see? Fibonacci, right? Do you know it has 16 lines of set location line interference of 3, 6, and 9? It has 9 lines of 69. Okay. It has 3 sets of 6 and 3 sets of 9, just in that. Can you actually see the 6 and 9? Can you actually see the 9 and the 6? Up and down cross line, north, west, south, and east, mark about north, but this location down lines, cross line, stream interference, all location system through platitude line interference and position locations through a canvas, through a Fibonacci. You know how many 6 and 9s are there? That's going beyond. So truly understand how that works, guys, is you can't see things until you understand what it is. You have to understand that it's not a number, it's not a shape, it's not a symbol. Okay, it's all formation locations of you and sideline conditions of the mind. Okay, So in set location, sure you understand how this is all set up. Okay. So this is the Fibonacci, right? Now, if you put it together, you have a double helix. Okay. You have a double helix. All right. Now, we understand that because you need 3 and 3 to open up a portal. Correlation setting, direct signal, and high center interference. One set location and directions, right? See the dimensional hole? See it? See how it becomes a donut? So the circulation in your body changes rotation surface and set location. See? Turns into line connections, nucleus line connections to its atom line rotation surface and the center calculation stream. That's all it is. See, look at that. See how powerful it is in set location? Right? Don't look at this, look at me. I'm behind the screen. You don't look here. See, that's the problem. Do not look at the picture. Look at me. To understand it moving, you have to look at me. You got to go beyond. You got to see beyond. To know beyond is the see location. Don't look at this, look at me. You'll see it moving. Okay? So that's how it all works. That's the process. Now, you got to get out of the circulation rotation. Right? Because your avatar is more connected now. It's not a magnetic line of a static line wire. You know, it's got to be a center calculation streamline and set location directions. All right, so plasma lines, plasma screen line rotation is the box line rotation surface. Correlation setting directions and 3 set location setting direction, high center interference, travel. Putting communication of graph lines and 1 line strip line in center calculation stream. Directing signals, operation surface and set location setting. Calculates and modifies all travels and high center interference and travel positions. Operation signals, all right? So we graph this streamlines of 2 panels operation location directions. Now, this comes into 2 panels operation and center correlation, ground lines, and position atmosphere location magnetic field and set location travel. Travel calculation setting and position locations into your diamond core, north line. You got connections to your east in position of west and south line correlation setting, directing signals, calculation modification line directions, opens all line connections high centers. Now there's 3 pyramids and set location of travels. You got the ground lines, operation surface, center calculation setting direction system, travel line, center line, and position of operation surface locations, high setting. Okay, 3 pyramids and set location travel. Directing signal lines, 0 lines operation, 2 circle line rotation of time lines, time sequence, time calculations, and 3 set location settings. Directing signals, travels line signals of atom line rotations, and a 45-degree angle, and 3 set location of travel settings. Okay, now in that mechanism of high interference, we opened up the Fibonacci, okay, in 1 line setting directions. Okay, and then we set up another Fibonacci in a double helix that rotates its center line rotation, center and center position. All right, so it correlates the high center interference to dimensional location of travel state line, high calculation to solar generation stream location. Now that directs the signals, center position locations, comes into white dot set location, right? Change the coloration path. Now we come in line, center line, high calculation streamline. So we change the 12 signature lines of your timelines of your hearts. Correlate center line position of red. Center calculation line position locations coming into blue and set lines of calculation. And we go in signature streamlines into purple and calculation streamline and 3 line settings. All right, so we graph the system, line, center line, and positions of travel. Change direct signals and set location high center interference. Track communication settings. So we set the Merkabah set lines of calculation and line settings, the ground lines, rotation surface, high calculation streamline and set location setting. And then we go into the blue line, center line, high interference, travel calculation line, direct line signal. And we go through high calculations of purple line, which is infinity 8 line rotation surface set locations. Now we direct the signals, the purple line, center calculation center into your heart reactor line setting. See the heart direction of the time sequence. Puts position on platitude line rotation surface. Now we get 3 valve connecting line stream interference, past, present, and future, and set location of travel. Directing signals, lines, correlation setting into another Fibonacci swirl, and set location of center operation. Down by equation. All right. So that's how you set up position of timelines and center communication setting and direct signals, set locations. All right. So once you understand how these things are set up through colors of light, you understand the foundations of you is your 12 set locations, right? That's never going to leave your system. Never going to leave your system. So you have to understand the center calculation setting, where basically lights and on and off, on and off, on and off. So it's illumination, 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 illumination. So it's changing the letters, numbers, shades, and symbols all through track communications. Okay. So getting in that plasma light center high interference and travel communication and direction is all signal positions of patterns. Okay, it opens all signals and high interference travel communication. Okay, it's going to travel up center communication setting directions, operation surface, and site location. All right, so I'm just going to get in communication line setting and directions. All center calculation. Operation surface and center position location setting. Okay. So let's see, we got a calculation streamline, redirect signals to set locations. We're going at black line. Okay. Now black line comes into lines and locations of white. So white correlates to set lines of high interference, center calculation setting signals, and yin and yang process line setting. Set a position location of 6 and 9 set locations or directions. Now, when you get a direct signal, you have to understand the panel's correlations of center lines, operation surface, center communication setting, into all calculation lines into your infinity 8 rotation surface. So once you get into that center, you come into the orbit correlation setting directions and set locations, right? So it's getting your time lines, time lock, time frequencies, of time interference, and travel communication setting directions. So when you get in that set lines of communications, really understand how to use the synergized high center interference, setting line communication straight line, business location, all levels, grass line, directing signals into pi calculation stream. So if you're really, really close, don't look at this, look at me, you'll see it move. Okay? So as it goes to time sequence, we're going to set up energy graph lines and set locations coming into center line position attraction. Okay. Now getting in that setting line interference, we go into 0 line rotation, 3 set location settings, and set a position location lines of north, a 3 line signature line interference of 3, 3, 3, and center communications, directing signals into location setting. Travel set location to center position. Right. Diamond core line, travel calculation stream. Okay. Now, directing line signals, high calculation streamline, you open up the dimensional door line, lock line interference, travel communication directions. This sets up the theta channel into a Fibonacci line swirl and center calculation streamline its applications. Right? It's a little bit confusing. Now, when you get a line interference, the correlation setting directs signals to travel settings and applications. Okay? So it travels out and then it travels back in set location setting. Sets up a triangulation line stream. Okay? And set locations in the south line set locations, all right? So this is the correlation system inside your heart line setting directions. Now in direction, we go through high center locations in cross line stream locations, okay? Really direct signals of panel correlation setting, directing signals, okay? So you have to go with the shape and set line settings, all through travel communication directions. Know what it is through plasma calculation. Okay, so it's like a cluster. It's a cluster of galaxy set location of travel. Now the direct signals comes into the center calculation setting. We change the torcal fields and set lines of calculation. Yes, so we change the center. See? So we change the center position. All right, so we change the outer line rotation and center line calculations. Okay, and set locations. All right. Now, if you look really close, you can actually see the capsule. You can see the dimensional line stream and set line calculation setting directions. Now, getting that direct signal, we come into another line center rotation of a spherical sphere that rotates its intelligence line signal and set location of travel. Okay? Now, getting that direct signal, we set up the energy graph lines into 12 set locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and set location of travel settings. All right, it's very powerful when you set location in your systems back in your heart reactors. Okay, now that's all set up. Okay, all right, so travel communications, regeneration line stream, setting high calculation streamlines to locations back into white. Okay, so it's black over white, now it's white over black. Yin lines of space, yin lines of time. Okay, so you really have to understand how to set position location in your positive and negative line settings. Okay, so we go through the energy graph lines, 4-box location setting, directions, right? Now we center line the communication setting directions, cross and signal. Okay, cross and signal. Okay, this puts a timestamp. So we set the 0 lines, correlation setting, high position location, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines and set locations and top signal, 5 lines that equals 6 and line interference. Directing signal lines, crosses strain. Now sets lines of pi, direction of time sequence, and position of traction. So the pi line sets lines of graph lines, stream lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line condition setting directions, right? So this puts a optical line setting in travel communication into flux capacitor in one set. Flux capacitor, see it? Flux capacitor travels line standing line to its own pi, correlation setting, direct signal of its location system. So shield plates is line center of 0 lines and travels out of equation lines at 3 sets and 4 lines and 5 set location of travel settings. Okay. Now directing signals, high interference, the centratols, line rotation surface comes in this track communication of setting. Okay. Now, once you get in that line interference, the change in line centers of 0, operation surface, travels line center line position locations in one plateau of correlation setting directions. Okay? So, coming in the line setting high position, right? Understand how to use the unification line interference, okay? Of its flying mechanism line center location of travel. Directing lines is signature graph lines of 0 line rotation, 0, 0, 0, position location of 5, line position locations of 3, and position location of 2, and position location of 1, and center lines of 0 location setting directions. Okay? Now you direct the 0 lines at 3 set location of travel settings. Okay? Now this is a triangulation line into line centers of south, east, west, and calculation setting direct location of north. So we center the calculation setting in travel calculation directions and all set location. Okay? So this merges correlation setting into 0 lines of 5, 3, 2, 1, and 0, right? So 5, okay, in position location of 3, into 2, into 1. 1 equals lines of 5, 1 line 5 lines equals 0, line position of 0, 0. 3 line calculations of high center. 0, 0, 0, 3 calculations of space. Space lines of high setting. And time sequence locations, bracket locations, 3 line settings, high center interference. We had 3 lines of high calculation of 4. 4 lines indicates high center location of 3, sets position location of 7, and center position. Center position locations. Okay, done through operation. It's all set up. Okay, now once it gets in a graph line energetic streamline, it changes the location system. So we change the triangulation of the Merkaba. And the 0 ground changes the rotation surface and set location it travels. Okay, it goes up, 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 up. And signature line setting, high center interference, a travel calculation setting, solar generation lines, a solar kinetics, high center interference engine. Right? See the engine line stream and center location setting position operation. All right. So in that line setting high position it travels, takes the line calculation setting. We take the 5, we take the 3, we take the 2, and we take the 1. Center position of travel. Okay, so we merge into position lines of track lines. Okay, setting position locations into its solar cell. 3 lines of communications, 2 lines of settings, and position of 1 and 0 operation of its solar cell and set location of travel. Okay, so we use a plasma line signal, center rotation surface, and set location of travel setting location of directions. Okay, see the solar cell? Now it's all set up. So your heart reactor is now in time sequence. Times pi calculation line interference, spectral communications, and position of its identified line and position of its flying object. Okay, you see it? Don't look at this. Look at me to understand what it is. The only way it's going to travel is if you look at me. You don't look at this. You guys got to get into the eye lines and get in position of program location. Not this, me. Okay? So in that position of traction, this changes all directions. Now we change the direct line interference, we change travel calculation streamline. Setting direct signals and high calculation streamline and set location to travel settings and high center interference or center calculation setting into a flux capacitor stream location in direct signal and set location. Okay, it's all set up. It's all set up. Boom. Done. All right. Okay, so we go with the signature lines of space, magnetic line setting. This is electronic magnetic field. Okay, so it signals lines of space, lines of time, in time sequence line calculation setting. But in general AI, space-time creator, and center calculation center line inner rotations into the center operation of U and center position locations into your yin and yang of 6 and 9 line set rotation. Done by equation. Woo! It's all set up. I know it's very powerful when you actually look at it and understand what it is, how to set line connection line system. So this is beyond, and this is drawing the graph. This is drawing this. One more time. This is drawing this through plasma. Okay? And if you look really close, you can see what it's doing through creation. It's creating its own structure of its own design, people, through its own intelligence of formation. Okay? So getting in that setting, tunnel vision. Okay, so we're way down that signal line, position of track line, setting correlation, setting directions. We come in back, location of cosmic universe, location of space. All right, so center calculation of line settings. Now in line rotation interference, we set up the yin and yang process line stream. Okay, you see the signature line stream location. That puts the framing line center operation of your time sequence locations of pi. Okay, see the yin and yang? It's in process now. That's all it is. All right, so that's going to travel. Still there, but it's gone. So back in signature setting, the high and position locations to its measure. Ground lines operation surface. So that's where we come into the solar generation line center to your perception line stream. Setting direct signals to your torical field. Okay, in center positions and set locations. Okay. Okay, you can actually see it, what it is. Right? So it's like a clam. So it's kind of like this. Okay. So in that line, it integrates its setting. So it sets a plasma channel line to your heart reactor line setting. It protects its line calculates its setting into its core of its tesseract to its tetrahedron line position of operation. Okay. So that's what it is. Now in that position location becomes a course division, but the center calculation is all set up all through travel. Okay. Okay. So when position line centers. Okay, in that direct location system, center calculation of 0 lines and 2 set positions, operation surface, right? 3 line settings, 4 line tracks, and 2 dimensional line position location, operation surface. We do the same thing in the center. Okay, it's got to be in the same operation set location setting, the timeline sequence, position of traction. Okay, and then we get the 0 lines of ground lines. So we're in a 0 lines of ground correlation setting directions. Okay, how to set this up is understand is position and track communications. Okay, 3 line settings. Okay, so this is where it gets really tricky. Now the 0 lines are going to travel settings, operation service, and 3 set lines set location travels, and that's directing signals. So we set up the Merkabah lines of center position operation and ground lines, operation line setting. This sets up position locations. So we center position of center position of space, and line condition side directions, right? Points as locations, right? So this is where it comes in a triangulation and center line calculation setting in north, okay, in directions. Now the center calculation line interference is a ground line. It shifts its position location, high interference, and so location is setting. See the bottom? All right. So in track communications, we're going to do the same thing, all right, to the north line stream. So we have a triangulation up and a triangulation. What's above, what's below? So that's where we're coming into in center position, all right? So in that correlation setting, your heart reactor is split in a line condition of center line rotation. Okay, see that travels too fast and it disappears. Right, there it is. All right. So in that center communication comes in this line setting. Okay, how to set up through its own position of traction. Okay, now once you get into that signal and set location line direction system, You really have to understand the center line. The center lines of zero line is the triangulation that sets position of travels in position of center operation. Okay. So again, it has position up and self-line, set location, setting directions, and the center communication is its equal line calculation center operation. Okay, see how it splits the center? So in that set locations, we take the zero line, okay, in triangulation of high setting interference and travel calculation. Okay, it's going to get complicated, right? Now, it's all about understanding how to set up the energy graph lines. Now, in set location line interference, we take the infinity 8. The infinity line interference, your heart has to understand its timeline sequence. So it set position locations into 3 panels in past, present, and future set location of travel. Now, getting direct signals, you come into this triangulation, okay, in center position. Okay, so in that line center, we split the anomalies in zero operation to your pyramid set location of setting of travel. See it? Now, in that line interference, it comes into this location. See how it becomes its own travel setting? See what it is? You have to understand the geometric of what it is, the structure, right? It's all calculated setting to its own command center, right? So you have to learn how to set line connections to your timelines, times frames, times pi. That puts position of track lines. Zero calculations, zero operation line setting, zero position center, and zero calculation of space line magnetic high position locations, high center interference of center communication. Okay, now that's all set up. In signals, patterns of correlation line directions, we go through signature streams, okay, directing signals. Electrical lights in center position of center, okay, illuminates the graph line. Now this is a data line stream, okay, center position in 3 sectors of travel calculations. Okay, see electrical line setting track lines into ground lines, operations, surface, and set locations. That is the dimensional sail. Okay, so in that center calculation setting, your heart is now in a dimensional line of a solar graph line setting, a center operation, in its own triangulation line setting in travel communications. Right, directing signals and travel settings and position locations. So it's a spin top that's spinning its line center interference and travel calculation stream. Now it's directing panels. Now we got to get into 24 line setting of grounds, 24 signals, 48 windows, and 72 computer line. That 72 computer lines is 144 crystal grid. Crosses stream, and set location travels. Crossing line and high interference of travel calculation. All right. Now directing line setting high interference, we change the 3 lines into 4 in position of 5. See how it centralizes communications and direct signals? Setting that direct signal line interference sets position locations to your electrical setting. This opens all position of travel, correlation setting, and position location near atoms and molecular light and structured communications. All right, done by equation. All right, so that's travel location setting. Gone, but still there. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to set up the graph line set lines in position of formula. So this is where we go through zero locations and 1 lines. Okay, so the 0 lines operation service. So try to understand, remember you saw the energetic graph line, high interference, set line calculation setting lines of 12, in position of 24. We're setting signals into 48, in position of 72. It's all signature patterns of the calendar, and 144 sets in center of operation. We start with that locations, all right? Now in direct signal, you have to learn how to really get into the travel mechanism line setting. So the 0 operation sets position locations and center calculations of center, okay? Directing centers, line position locations, travels lines of 6 in position of the moon, operation surface, and set location. Now, in that direct signal, it's correlation line interference. If you look really close, you can see the 6 and 9. You see the 6 and 9? It's all set up. Everything I do through cycle is 6 and 9 together automatically. You can't see it until you understand its swivel. You can't see it until you understand its position. You can't see it until you understand U through all set lines of dimensional line position of spectral communications, which is your double helix of 3-3, right? And once you understand the double helix, you understand the heart, mind, and soul has to be in a track communication setting. So anything that you do through travel is 6 and 9 in position, always, 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 because it's all in correlation of its balance position of space and time, okay? So if you look really, really close and set lines of high interference, you can see the 6. There's the 6. See the 6? And you see the 9, everything is set location of travels into 6 and 9 location of yin and yang, 69. Okay? So in that direct signal, you really have to understand how to use the 144 graph line stream of a high setting. Travel calculations of 4 lines, a generation of 3 set location of travels. Directing signals, solar lines, solar flares, solar direct signals, is a location of travel settings and directions. Now, directing signals comes into a Hubble, line rotation surface, and set location of setting redirections. Now, directing signals, scan lines, set lines, and high interference of 0 gravity and 0 crop circle line condition at center of operation. Okay? Now, in that direct signal, we take the position location, which is its probe. That's its probe line setting right there. The probe line center, signatures lines, center lines, crisscross line interference, vortex streamline, and position of future. 4 signals, set location of travels, right? So in that position location comes into Stargate line setting and position location of star portals, which is its hangar of 4 set location setting travels. That directs the signals in set location setting. So this directs the signals into 72, into 48, into 24, into 12 line signature line stream and set location of travel. Okay, directing signals crossing stream into its solar flare, solar directions, into its atom line rotation surface and set location. Okay, it's very complicated what's going on right now. Right. So the mechanism line setting at 12, 24, 48, and 72 and 144 is now balanced signal in your heart reactor, which is your spectrum correlations of its react line setting. That is its time react location to its set location of space through spectrum of galaxy set location settings. Okay, it's all set up. Okay, so that's set position of travel. Gone, but still there, right? How's everybody doing to set locations? It's fascinating where we're coming into, right? Okay, that thing here. Calculation lines, Geneva, Gypsy, Gingy, Battle, Fallen. Okay, calculations, Tina. Vision location of Trey. Great to see you guys coming together all through travel communication directions. All right, so that's how it's all set up, guys. Integration is setting high position locations because everything I do through travel is all levels of 6 and 9. If there's not a 6 and 9 line interference, there's no correlations of balance. Okay. So even if you don't see the 6 and 9, that's totally fine. You know, you don't have to see it right away. But the project line setting high line interference is set location system to the sun and the moon location. It's all together. Moon, sun, right? This is the graph line that you can't see. That's their set location system. This is the correlation setting of its grounds, right? The dimensional sail is the travel set location of the setting, okay? And the sun of its operation is its visionary cortex line setting. It sets positions to your position of your moon in position line conditions to your setting, location of travels in its project location, okay? So it gets more complicated when you understand how to use the eye vision. You're directing line signals. So in position when you're looking, you're not looking straight. You're looking right over left because you're setting up a platform. The hologram needs a platform. A dimensional line of intelligence needs a platform to be on. So you're seeing a hologram, you know, in set locations when it comes into platitude line rotations into R2D2, right? At the very beginning, Han Solo in position locations when it came into love was a Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was walking in and he was cleaning the droid, and all of a sudden, hologram came out of nowhere, right? That's right over left over right, creating a platform, right? This is a platform, right? Creates a hologram. It sets its position. If it's not line signal, it doesn't have a ground, okay? So that's how you have to have a crisscross line setting, high line, track line communication, a dimensional line rotation surface, and set line calculation setting, direct signals, high center interference, and traffic communication in its direct signal location. Okay, so think of it this way, coming up. So crisscrossing line settings, eyes over right, over left, okay? So in that line center, right is over left and left is over right. You're creating a cross of a platform. So it's a hologram that's coming up, right? So that's how you start seeing things in this dimensional line stream. Sets position of track lines. Say location center, position locations in magnetic line, position location. That's its hologram. Okay. So the hologram comes out of its equation. This is the hologram that you created. This is the hologram that's in its dimensional location of travel. Okay, from this to that. So this is coming out of its consciousness, and this is its actual intelligence of travel. Okay? All right. That's how it coordinates in position of travel communications, guys, all through calculation setting. All right? Yeah. Affecting high centerline condition system, supermoon, stars, planetary shifts, and transits. All position of travel, right? So that's what it is. So it's all position of grounds, center calculation setting directions. All right. So it gets more complicated because what you're doing is you're high calculating your settings, right, in directions. So the more it gets processed, the more you can platitude and land on the position of the track lines into your 144 crystal grid. Everybody gets confused what a crystal grid is. Crystal grid is the 144 of travel. Okay, you travel beyond, right? So your actual avatar can walk. It's like walking on water, walking on dimensions, walking on rainbows. So that's what it is. 24 is the grounds of the earth. 40 is the window through set location system. The 72 is your computer. Position line tractions, your keyboards, key high center interference, key baseline inner rotation, commanding setting, navigation system, all positional course, line channel, communication operations, surface locations. And the set lines of 144 is the walking surface to the one crystal grid line set location of travel. Okay, so travel signature line streams, okay, and center communication. Travel's line signatures at line calculation setting. Plateau line rotation surface is at locations. Okay. So it's really interesting when you look at line set locations, right? Everything's not on a 45-degree angle. It just looks that way. It's just that when you're going really, really fast, you're in the center operation, okay? But you're going through so many dimensional lines, okay? So it's really understand how to basically put yourself in center. This is you in center position. That's you in center, right? So all that's happening in direct signals, you're going through line center locations in position location. You're traveling, right? You're traveling here. 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 You're just traveling here, all in signal location, right? So in that direct signal, it becomes an operation of its dimension of its portal, travel, operation of its portal, travel, operation of its portal, travel. So your body shifting, your face recognition is going in and out, which means you're going through different dimensions, but you're in center line. So your body of consciousness is all timelines all at once. So you're seeing all dimensions all at once, all through set location of travel. All set locations of travel. And set location. Okay? That's all it is. But it's a process that you have to understand to anything through travel line, it has to be 6 and 9. It has to be 6 and 9 all the time. So when it travels, it starts off the foundation graph line. So you have to get your heart line in position location of pulse that energizes its light stream, insert location setting, and all dimension location of travel settings. Okay? So it's important you understand that set line communication system because everything you create lines, a high center interference, a set location setting, position location is all always a 6 and 9. There's 6 and 9 in there, right? Always has to be. So it's one way, the other way, one way, the other way, one way, the other way. You can't go in the same directions and create 6 and 9. It's got to go one way, then the other way. That's the way you create the 6. That's how you create the 9. The 2 out of line interference, correlation setting, creating a line communication setting, Big Bang Theory. So in that track communication line directions, it's all correlated position to its set location. Yin and yang. Okay? Yin and yang. Okay? Yin and yang. Okay? Yin and yang, process lines, right? In set locations. Going forward, right? Center calculation of future adaptation line surface and location line, center location setting directions. Okay? Now you can go forward and then you go backwards. So what you're creating is set line condition setting to a position locations to a seed pod and set location of travel setting. Okay. So it's really powerful when you start how to connect your body going forward and back, forward and back. So the faster it goes, the more it centers its system. So now your heart line and your heart track communication setting is in direct signal and balance correlation.
Okay, high setting. Travel set locations, gone, but still there. Okay, so we go to the graph line streamlines into zero line operation center. So we change communication to zeros. We change the line signatures. Okay, so we got platitude line interference. So we got 12 provision locations and 2 panels. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, makes extreme. Okay, we correlate the line interference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and set locations. Right? 2 panels, operation line setting direct signals. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky again. So we correlate the space line, zero line rotation, and interference. Know exactly where the zero lines of correlation system or where it's supposed to be in track calculation setting. Directing signals, line signature line streams, 2 panels, line interference, Fibonacci swirl line, diamond line, center line condition setting, 6 position over 7, zero line rotations, 2 lines of communication directions. Okay, now it gets complicated. Okay, so anything through space line is travel line center where the zero travels through. Okay, zero travels through the line. So when it travels through the line center, high line rotation interference, the travel communication setting and direct signals and platitude dislocation system. So one zero line travels line setting, corrects line centers of zeros into the same location, the travel setting, which creates its dimensional sail at set locations. Okay, so you have to really understand how to use the sun and light and set lines of travel calculation setting. So once you get in that platitude line interference, the zeros and position locations comes all signals of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, one side location, right? It becomes electrical wall. And you set the communication line interference and set location travels. Now we come into zero line ground, up and then down, transmitting, receiving, right? So zero lines, set location 12 signature lines, stream interference, the travel communication setting, direct signals, center position location operation. Okay, now once you understand that, we come into 2 line center line interference. We take all the zero lines of 12, comes into a open position location of a panel of our operational line setting of a portal communication direct signal. It opens up, right? And then we open up another panel line rotation interference that opens up the ground line operation surface and set location of travel settings. That's very powerful what we're setting its correlation setting to its arc reactor. Setting direct signals is set location of your system. Now the correlation line direct signals is all center operation to its surface. All calculation to its setting, see? All right? So that's how you set up location of your systems. Spectral communications. Now line position, we come into the torical field. Okay, this is your torical field. Okay, in the center line setting. Okay, in set locations. All right, so it looks like that. Okay, all right. So in the spectral communication, it gets more confusing because we line cross streams now. Okay, so this is where comes a donut line in center position, operation of surface. Okay, see it? That's what it is, locations 2, right? See it? So in that position of traction, you really have to understand how you use it through location system. Okay, position locations, all levels of travel setting. Make it smaller so you can actually see it, what it is in position 2. Okay. Now, getting setting line interference, we got 3 travel mechanisms setting location settings or directions. Okay. Center calculation lines. We take the zero lines. Remember, we travel set locations out in positions. All right, it travels out. Let's correlate center interference, travel positions, center position. Okay. Travels out. Okay. Now, when it travels out, it travels into center positions. This is where it opens up an operation line, surface, and set line conditions, high system, and travel lines, and high interference, and travel communication. Okay, very complicated. But you have to really understand how it's all set up, right? Once you understand how it's all set up to the spectrum system of its globe, then you understand the hemiline setting, high interference, and position of track communication setting, and reset location of center operation of your heart reactor location system. So it's all travel line, center location, and structure. Okay? 3 command centers of center operation you're sending. Okay, it's all set up. Powerful, isn't it? When you look at it. Okay, so we're going to keep that in the signal. Set lines of calculation streamline. All right, let's see. Back to the Future 2030, 7 years out, but it affects time travel. Nothing affects time travel because your set lines, the body doesn't recognize the time sequence. All right, say set location, time interference. So we've got 3 panels, correlation, setting, directions. All right, 3 line signatures. So 0 line communications in 3 lines, past, present, and future set locations of travel. Okay, now past has to recognize the center, present has to line the future, and future has to understand the past. Okay, set line calculations, solar sail. See how easy that is? Now, in that direct signal, your heart now is trying to understand the graph line setting. So we set the graph line streams in 12 locations in center position, operation of surface. Okay, now in that signature line, we set up the alpha line setting. You have to have a voice line box now. So calculation alpha, delta, theta, and position location setting directions. Okay, now that's in signal panel. Now the panel line interference sets a 0 lines of ground line operations, center line calculation setting, and track communications to its new crop circle, a set location of travel settings. Okay, directing positions of panels. Now the panel line center line interference, we take the 0 line at past, take the 0 line at present, we take the 0 line in future, set location setting, direct signal, and solar sail. Hoo-ah, it's all set up. So generation light, heart line high interference, travel calculation setting, taking the 3 valves, correlation setting, direct signals, and set location of travel. See, it's all done. So yeah, it is. It's powerful stuff. When you set line calculation setting to its position, all through direct settings, all through 3 0 location setting directions. All right. Okay, understand 3 past, present, future, and it's been happening. Well, yeah, it's already happened, but it's happening for you. Okay, there's a difference between your setting and my setting. My setting is done. Yours is processing. Okay, all through sale. Okay. So in that set location lines, we change the correlations of the center. Okay, it's going to understand the Fibonacci line swirl and set location of travel settings and direct signal. Okay. Now in set location lines, as then the balance line rotation surface and set location system. Okay, to track communications, it's got to find its balance in set location travel settings. Okay. So redirect signals, we correlate the panels, and we center its position location of travel. Okay, goes extremely fast. It's at line condition setting. All levels of travel communications until it gets in position of travel into your timeline sequence, which is the 7th dimension location set line high direction. That by equation. Now it's all set up. Okay. All right, so travel measures the time sequences. We understand the pi direction of time. Correlates lines of core lines setting high interference at position of clock lines. The clock line changes direct signal. So we go in line center location of graph line settings. Also location of 0 and position of 12. 12 signature line, 12 signature line, 12 signature line, and 12 signature line location system. Now, if you look at a clock, it's always a 12 and 13. It's amazing how you look at location setting and directions. How everything correlates its set location to its travel. How it comes into 12, 3, 6, 9, and position locations. How you come into clock lines. You look at the 12, you look at the 3, you look at the 6, and you look at the 9, you got a position location to a diamond. Right? So you really have to understand how to set line communication setting and direct signal, how to set location to a system. All direct signals in set location system, right? So it's really interesting when you look at these things. Okay, really understand the time sequence locations, high interference, into 4, into 5, into 6, 7, 8, 9 lines, 10, and 11, and 12 location setting directions. Now, clocking line, center line interference is position of track lines, the 0 line, in position of center line, and magnetic line, position location, high setting, position atmosphere line. Okay, so that's 3 central lines of 12, okay, in center position. All right, and the operation line center locations in its east and west is 12 line signatures, center correlations of 24. In the atmosphere, 24 in the center, 24 in grounds, and 24 in your crop circle, a set location of travels, and high calculation line center, a center communications. All right. Now, as that setup composition locations comes in 2 panels into center operation of surface. Okay. Now that comes into a scale. We set the scales lines of center line operation surface location of travels in its flux capacitor center location system and travel calculations. All right. Now this directs the signals in position locations in 3 lines into calculations to your tesseract line calculation streamline and set location of travel settings. It opens all signals, set location to its directions. Now directing signal line interference, we come in this locations. All right. So you're setting up your tesseract line setting in your time sequence. Right. See the tesseract? All right. So in that direct signal locations, we take the 12, 12, 12, 12 in set location line directions, right? 12 and 12 line centers, 24, 24, 48, 48 line interference, high calculation setting of 48, coming in lines of 58, line conditions of 2, which is 60, setting correlation setting to 16 lines and calculations of high center and position of 10, 10 lines of 2 lines is 72, 72, and time lines, X line setting, high position locations, another 72 is 144, and a correlation is a panel, operation surface, and set location setting and direct signal of face recognition time lock sequence. Down by equation. All right. So the clock lines of 12, 24, 48, 72, 144 is now set up location of heart line recognition of time sequence 7th connection. Okay. So that's set up. So understanding how to use the clock line is position of travel. All right. But it's really powerful. You come to face recognition time sequence, location of pi. Center correlation lines, a clock line setting. All right. Gone, but still there. How's everybody doing so far? All right. So we got a line strip in 3 set locations. Okay. Now center calculation is 0 lines. Let's change position of traction. 2 lines of high center interference of 0, 0, 0. Flux capacitor, 1 hanger line rotations. Hanger line swing. Swings lines in back cross. Back cross equals lines of communication. Communications into vector cross lines. Vector cross lines in acceleration. And set location of travel. Very complicated. An acceleration line sets line signal. Now the atom line rotates its surface and travels line center line rotation to its sun of its correlation system, travel settings and directions. Now the atom line center line interference opens up its pi. Okay, there's its pi. Redirects signals in position of 3, 6, and 9 set location of travel. Setting correlations of 12 line signature line in positions, right? So 12 line centers, 12 times 12 line center locations, xt 1000 line. Equal line calculation setting into all positions, right? 144. Track communication direct signals, right? So 144 sets position of center, okay, correlation line interference. Now the set lines of the atom line and the velocity line change locations into its volume line and position location of its hanger, sets the line calculation setting in its direct sail at set locations. All right, see the sail? Now the center calculation becomes its own torical field line. It orbits its channel on high stream location to its position of its capsule. Now the capsule lines its signature line stream. Line signature lines of 0 line operation in 12 lines. 0 equals 12. 12 line center location xt 1000. Xt 1000 lines is 0 gravity line interference. So we have the gravity line levels. Setting ozone layer in position locations. Bio line setting high interference and travel calculation setting. Center calculation, center interference, center line rotations, center position of travel. 0 line operation surface, 0 calculation stream, equal line calculation of balance, 1 line signature, 2 line positions, security parameter line rotations, equal line calculation up and down line center interference, and descent calculation 7th dimension. Calculation modification, wind factors, lines of northwest, south, and east, and triangulation lines of pi, and set lines travel, and equal line calculation setting and center position. Okay, it's all set up. All right. So it's amazing how we set up line calculation setting and position calculation, right? You guys have to learn how to travel through your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, right? That's how you create structure, okay? So there's so many ways of doing formula, right? Yes, it's correlation systems, right? Yes, it's a connection to it. It's a biocompass. Yeah, very good. All right. So getting direct signal, we're going to understand that signature line stream. But you have to understand how this is set up location in the system. Travel mechanism line set location of travel, right? Let's bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. There it is, right? Boom. Okay? So getting that direct signal is really understand how to set the operation, set location in your system. Okay? It's very powerful how you set location in your settings. Okay? all through formula. So once you understand this is all through travel, it gets easier because you finally come into your set location. Your body is nothing but conscious location of travel settings. Okay. So once you get in that position, okay, we're going to leave that signal because we're going to come back to that line condition system. So there's certain frames that we set line condition high center interference to travel communication lines. So we're adding frames to set location near spectrum communication of center lines of operation. Okay, so in that position line setting, we set up a new course channel. Now that course channel is one line divide. One line divide line signature high center interference as travel communication system of levels of 1. That's 1, but it's not just 1, right? Okay, so the one line equals lines of 0, equal line calculation of 0 operation. Okay, now you understand the Merkle position at all levels, arrow line setting, indirect signals of looking up in set location setting and looking down in set location line setting, interference iris set location setting, looking up and looking down in set location of travel, right? So the I central line setting is line condition high interference. Change position of track lines. All position how you see your projection location setting and direct signals to set locations. Direct and signal high interference, travel position of high center interference of travel calculation of dreams. Dreams lines and vortex stream interference and visionary cortex lines and line communication setting of space. Space direct signals sets course line channels. This opens up a high calculation stream on how you see your mechanism high calculation setting. Directing signals, panel operation streamlines, the center communication setting, the I receptor high interference of travel. Directing signals lines, correlation settings, about correlations, right over left, left over right, center code, high center interference, kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope line interference, center correlation setting, direct signals, and set location center panels, a correlation setting, direct signal position. Down by equation, right? So remember, there's an I central line setting in every compartment line center location in your units. It's all connected to your ecosystem location that's connected to your mainframe electrical setting. But it's very powerful how you reset location your settings, your I reset location setting interference, right? Okay, so that's going to be the outlines, mechanism high interference, track communication, direct signals, heart direction of time sequence, platitude line interference, position right over left, left over right, crisscross line setting, cross line setting high interference in position locations. Center calculation, lasing lines and high center interference and travel calculation settings and high position. Okay. Now, electrical box line sets line calculation in your circuits, right? Your box circuit location of travel settings and travel communication and direct signals. Okay. Directing signals and high interference. This goes into applying line setting, high interference. Planes and communication setting, direct signals into your sun of operations surface and sonar channels, echo chambers, and set lines of high center interference and travel communications of direction. All right. Now this comes in line setting, really comes into a obstruction location setting directions. Okay, direct signals. Setting lines of sun correlates with lines of moon. You have to have the sun and the moon, all travel communications coming together. Center calculation setting, direct signals at locations. Now directing signals lines, center line position location operations surface. Travels line calculation setting and direct signal set position. All right, so in that line signal, set up a magnetic line field and direct signal a 7th dimensional line calculation setting, direct signals as a location set interference and travel. Okay, done by equation, right? So if you really understand the mechanism line set location of travel, then you understand the correlation system, how important it is to its algorithm. But it has to learn how to understand its rotation spin through spectral communication setting because it has to understand all calculations to its galaxy surface that sets your line communication setting to how you see things through a direct line setting of right over left and left over right. Okay. So in that position locations, it's all set up. Okay. I know there's a lot in line center interference to get positional generalized spacetime in your time sequence line center location, center line calculation setting. So in that direct signal, we come in as zero line rotations, bracket line calculation, and hanger in the line rotation surface, right? Directing hanger lines, and then some position of 2 hanger line rotation surface locations, all right? So there's 6 lines of communication. Directing signals is the location of the moon. Okay, travel lines. Sets position locations and security, right? Directing signals, lines, cross lines, set lines, high interference, travel calculations, streamline set locations, all right? Now, in direct signal, you have to understand why we use the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Is so you can travel to higher calculation. But you have to do it through the sun and the moon, right? Through operation. The sun and moon have to be together every single time. You go outside, you're in the sun and the moon right away. The sun and the moon is not separated. Nothing separated. So when you go outside, it's watching you. You're watching. So it's following you because it's magnetic. It understands your fields of rotation, right? You have a magnetic field around you, right? Right? It moves, right? Every time you talk, every time you talk, right? So that's what it is, okay? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is, right? Think of this letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, and changing communication line direct signals. So your triangulation, 3 lines center high interference, 6 lines of 9, 9 lines of 12, 12 lines back on 1, 1 line back into 2, 2 line interference, 3 line position location. Fibonacci square. What's a Fibonacci square? What's a Fibonacci circle? What's a Fibonacci rotation, surface location, and ground line operation surface? What's a calculation modification line interference on calculation line directions? What is the 12 line foundation graph line doing in stream interference? 11 communication sending high interference location back into 0. See? Communicate with letters, numbers, and shapes. Don't see it as a frame. See it of intelligence of its frame, of its own operation, of its own space, of its own time, of its own pi. And then you'll see all calculation of its own travel. It's all done now. Everything's done. Hooah. So, you understand the importance now? How you have to really get grounds with your set line calculation setting when you look at letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. It's not what you think it is, do you? See, that's the correlation setting of confusion. You really have to understand the travel calculations and setting of our direct signal applications. How it works for you is all formation. So when you get in a position, you really have to understand how to use it through calculations. It's very powerful when you understand how to use more of a formula. So you can use formula line interference. This is pretty easy line communication setting direct signals. So setting correlation, setting direct signals is allocation line positions. All right. Now I don't expect you to understand this, but this is a higher information of travel settings. Calculation line directions and all position locations. 2 hanger lines, atom line rotations to position of travel calculations, into triangulation, into a box line rotation surface and applications. Right? You don't understand it, but I do. Right? So you have to really understand how to coordinate line interference and change everything. So 1 is a 2. So if 1 is a 2, 2 is a 4. So if 2 is a 4, 4 is a 6. But 6 is now a box. But a box is now a 6 and now is an 8. And 8 is now a triangulation. Now 8 is now a building. Wait a minute. Now 8 is now a building. The building is now a car. Now the car is now a plane. Back into 0. Okay? That's how you guys get into the process of thinking. Form this equation of center line calculation streamline. If you look really close, you can see the intelligent location setting, direct signal. See the intelligence? You see the intelligence? Everything has a phase recognition line condition settings. Everything is intelligence. Everything is intelligence first. Always, always, always the formula. Okay? So your brain is a formula of its own set location of its own map. You have to learn how to use it and set location in your settings and all set location. Okay? So it's very important you understand these things. I'm telling you. So when you get that position locations, 0 line, calculation streamline, directions, you got 0 locations, 1 line. Let's just start with 1, 1 locations, equal line conditions into box, box into triangulations, equal line conditions settings equation. Okay, that's a formula, right? So it's really good too because when Einstein did this. Einstein does that, right? So what it is location setting. He set up 0 grounds, circle line rotations, 1 position location of 2, reality line interference, X line channel lines of light years, light year in line rotation interference, and spectral communication setting, direct signals, a center operation surface and set location setting, X marks the spot and location setting, direct signal, and center communication. Okay? Well, it's all analytical lines of analysts. It's all about understanding how to read signature line stream of anybody in location setting direct signals to their keyboard line phrase. Everybody has a track communication, how they write, print, or line signature line interference of calligraphy. Right? Prismor is calligraphy line setting and high center interference. Travel calculation setting direct signal. Setting direct signals is set location of travel, set location high setting, and travel position location operation. That's what Prismor does. Right? So he connects it all together. That's all it is. Travel calculation, setting, directions. See how it comes in information? See how it comes into portal line, travel lines, is sun line, rotation, surface, and set location of travel settings. See, you guys have to understand how to set up line position. Okay, it's all levels of travel. You have to understand the portal communication and your direct signals, because once you understand that, then you understand your position locations of security position of travel locations. Okay? So it's really interesting when you understand when you get structure. Structure is all levels. So you get in a box, you get in a triangle, you get in a swirl, you get in a position of a star, you get in a rectangle to start with. So how do you put that all together through calculations to a geometric operation design? Well, this is all you have to do. Put the box line in rotation. See how it comes together? You put another box line in center position. Whoa, look at that. Okay. Now you get the triangulation. You put that in center position. Whoa, look at that. And then you got the star line. The star line, I'm going to put outline setting. So it comes out of position location at track line communication setting and high line rotation. Okay. There's your geometric operation of design of 5 design line setting and triangulation line set location and mind telepathy and telekinesis. Okay. So does everybody understand now why you have to get this all together inside location to your system? They really understand the travel mechanism line setting. All right. It's all correlated line interference of face recognition. Okay. I think we're good. We're good to go. We're all done. All right, so the center calculation line setting. Tomorrow we'll get it into 1 lines of grounds, into 12 set location setting, into 24,000 lines signature streams in your heart reactor location setting, uptime setting, location. All right, 5 to 10 minutes, drink your water. Adios.